be going up by the end of this month. Joining me to help answer that question is Pennsylvania Congressman Joe Sestak. Congressman, good to see you.
Good to be back, Sean. Thanks.
All right, we don't agree on this. Let me ask you this. Let's start with class warfare. Because I kind of resent this. I never got a job, Congressman, from a poor person. You know, when you talk about the rich, you know, that pay on average with state, local taxes and property taxes about 50% of their income, aren't they the job creators? Aren't they the ones that donate to charity? Aren't these the people that pay the taxes?
Well, as you well know, small businesses create 80% of all new jobs. And in fact, 98% of all small businesses earn less than $250,000. That's why if we had originally, in the initial stimulus bill, put in about $100 billion of tax credits that create jobs, because small businesses of less than 20 people lost half the unemployed, why did the Republicans and Democrats say, you like business, we like business, and focus it? It's not about tax cuts. It's about tax cuts focused at the right job creation place.
But I mean, but back to my question. Did you ever get a job? Did you ever get a job from a poor person?
I don't understand the premise of your question.
The premise of the question is that if rich people spend money, and again, they're paying on average about 50% of their income. If the rich people, did you ever get a job in your life from a poor person?
Well, I was in the Navy for 31 years, Sean, but let me answer it this way. During the 8 years of the Bush administration, 53% of tax cuts did go to the top 1.5% of the wealthiest. Now, we know, and you know, that in those 8 years, the gross domestic product grew at the slowest rate since World War II. Now, during the Clinton administration, they raised the top tax rate from 36 to 39.5%. Yet, we created 23 million jobs and had the highest growth in GDP in those 8 years since and created 23 million jobs as compared to 0 in the 8 years of the Bush administration. So I don't believe that wealth trickles down. It doesn't mean that you don't want tax cuts for the wealthy. That's not the issue. The issue is right now, well, listen, I'm supporting the president's compromise here. The Democratic caucus doesn't speak for me. I have to represent 700,000 people. Now, let's take the large township in Upper Darby in my district, largest township in Pennsylvania. They're going to have a tax increase of 6.3% this year in local taxes because money hasn't been flowing to them because so many people have lost their jobs.
I want those people back to work. Here's the problem.
Yeah, but they want to work. Make sure we're clear about that. They may be poor, but they want to work.
Well, okay, but the top 10%, according to the IRS, pays 70% of the tax bill. The bottom 50% pays 2.9% of the tax bill. It's like, here's my take on this. Is all these people that are paying taxes and create jobs and donating money, the job creators, the wealth creators, the taxpayers, the bottom 50% pay 2.9%. Not only do they pay 50% of their income in taxes, it seems like now you want to take a baseball bat and hit them over the head and tell them, hey, you're not doing enough, Congressman.
Everybody takes their facts and likes to look at them through the prism they present. Let me give you mine. In the last 20 years, the wealth of the top 1% went up 281%. If you are in the exact middle of the middle class, the middle fifth, it went up in 20 years 25%. So if the wealthy went up almost 300%, even if they were paying the same tax rate as that first year, of course they're paying a bit more.
So give me a number. Give me a percentage. You know, if you pay 40% of your income in taxes, state, local, federal taxes, property taxes, is that too much?
Well, I think the Clinton era, when we created, did create 23 million jobs, is the right percent for the top wealthy, 39.6%.
All right, 39.
And so
that's
I have supported that should be.
In New York, you pay another 10%. In other states, it's 6%. Then you pay property taxes. Then you pay sales taxes. So what percentage of people's income, total tax bill, do you say enough is enough?
Well, I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I will say this. Remember, a lot of where the money comes from is supposedly corporations. You know as well as I do that you and I pay more in taxes than most Fortune 500 companies, because 66% of all corporations pay 0 U.S. taxes. Zero. ExxonMobil doesn't pay a cent. And so the key here is, how do you create jobs? I want to focus on small businesses that create 80% of all jobs. Yes.
There's been, apparently in this meeting that took place yesterday, there was a referral to the president as the effing president. We got Ralph Nader referring to him, I forget exactly what his, that he's a con man, meaning President Obama. We got screwed, we got taken to the cleaners. President Obama's reacting. He's calling Republicans hostage takers. What do you make of the rhetoric in Washington?
I didn't hear that one comment, the first one you said, but I will say the hair got up on the back of both the vice president's neck and those who were there. I think they're both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, and both parties better look at themselves. Why didn't they handle this issue prior to the election, have courage of the conviction, and not worry about electoral prospects? I voted against the German 3 times. Now all of a sudden they've been backed into a corner. And we have a compromise, but it's a little bit of a compromise of principle, but we can't hold a gun at the working family's head. We've got to pass this before 1 January.
All right.
Because it also does help the economy. Our GDP will grow as much as 4% if we do this, and you're going to help those people across this nation who are unemployed and those that create jobs, small businesses.
You're critical of your leadership. You said instead of having my Democratic Party leadership worry about self-preservation, we should have had the courage of our convictions. Are you playing?
Correct.
Go ahead.
Correct. Well, I mean, Sean, you remember I stood up to my own party's establishment from the president on down and ran against it for the primary against Senator Specter. The issue is, it isn't about party. John F. Kennedy said it well. Sometimes the party asks too much. And maybe if both parties would start working together and what's broken down here, maybe we could do more principled compromise rather than compromise of principle. And if people stop worrying about their own jobs and worrying about American jobs, I think we could be much further down the road than we are today.
Congressman, appreciate you coming in. Plenty more Hannity.
It's always great to be with you.